Now, I know what you're thinking. You're probably thinking to yourself, wow, the clickbait is really strong on this video. However, how else am I supposed to get your attention in a vast sea of a bunch of clickbait videos? So with that being said, I'm gonna deliver on the title of this. Now, it is pretty bold to say how to win 100% of the time because it does sound scammy and it sounds highly improbable. However, let me just break down, before I get into it, let me just tell you one thing. Make sure you smash the like button and subscribe to help out this channel as well. But let me just kind of go back and reflect on what Bitcoin is. So essentially, Bitcoin is now a store of value. So think of gold, right? So how does the price increase over time? Well, pretty simple. Because there's a limited supply of Bitcoin and the demand keeps on raising, well, that just becomes a supply and demand. And we already know that the last Bitcoin won't be mined for literally years on end. This means that essentially the supply becomes scarcer and scarcer as more people join the crypto revolution. So what does this tell you? Essentially, this tells you that if you own Bitcoin, it's going to value itself even more. It's kind of the value of Bitcoin is going to constantly increase, month over month, year over year, ideally year over year. And it's been one of the highest performing asset classes ever in existence. Now, with all that being said, I do want to tell you that the way that I personally invest in Bitcoin and altcoins is a little, different, not really different, but tactically created so I win over time, a lot more. I win greater over time. And that's kind of what I want to share with you as well. So the very first thing, it's more so of a layered cake process here. The very first part is I got familiar with understanding support, resistance, RSIs, etc. So I kind of learned charts and understood where Bitcoin should be going, where Bitcoin should stop if it hits a support level, and what happens if it breaks that support and we keep on going, where the next support is. So understanding the ranges allows me to execute the second layer of my cake, which would be dollar cost averaging. Now, dollar cost averaging is so important. And for those of you who don't know what dollar cost averaging is essentially you're buying at every different level, price level. So maybe Bitcoin's at 40,000, you buy at the top, and then it goes down to 39. You're like, oh, dang it, it's going down. So you buy at 39 again. Then it goes to 38, you buy at 38, 37, 36, and then it goes back up to 40. But your entry price, how much you paid in total for the Bitcoin that you own, actually becomes smaller and smaller as you work your way down, and it averages down rather obviously than up. So that's dollar cost averaging in a nutshell. Now, dollar cost averaging is the premise of this entire video. Dollar cost averaging is what's going to allow you to win over time. But what's the third layer is essentially holding. Now, you can go ahead and not buy the tops, dollar cost average, understand support, resistance, RSIs, understand charting, a very basic level of charting. And if you hold over time, it will go ahead and increase in value, as we've seen previously with, history already. So we can see, a bunch of different points in time and what happened in those points in time. And back in 2017, right, we had that bull run, and then it kind of consolidated for 3 years. So long story short, we have this massive bull run that we just encountered, and obviously we know what's happening right now. It's very apparent that we're having a correction, and this correction is one of the biggest corrections in history. Now, how exactly do you make sure you don't lose and lose big is, number one, don't buy the top. I dollar cost average my way down, and now it's obviously looking like we're going to see some consolidation. If not, we're going to push down a little bit lower, but either way, I'm dollar cost averaging my way down, and I'm going to continue to dollar cost average my way down. So my total investment is, my total entry price on Bitcoin is a lot lower than what I got in at when it was close to the top. So dollar cost averaging is very important in order to go ahead and have a great entry price average down. And then once Bitcoin has its next leg up, you're going to be able to make way more profits that way. Now, the other thing I want to talk about is a lot of people listen to, and this is ironic that I'm saying this, but a lot of people take face value of what YouTubers and other influencers say. That is something that I've learned over time not to do. Kind of stay away from it. Because yes, there are certain individuals who are really good at calling certain aspects in the crypto space and really good at charting. There's a lot of individuals that are great at what they do. However, the mainstream ones I've noticed tend to sell and tend to give a lot of hope. So there's a lot of hopium that goes around. And BitBoy, I personally love his content, love how it's structured, love his system and whatnot, but it's extremely overhyped as well. It works, it attracts a big audience. However, a lot of the information isn't necessarily something that you should be taking to heart. You can digest it at its core for what it is, but I do believe that listening to other individuals, like other influencers that go ahead and sway your decisions is not a good thing. You should be making your own decisions. You should be making your own calls and making sure that you logically process it. Now, if you want an example of a phenomenal YouTuber with a great presence that understands logically how this market works and how psychologically people think, is somebody like Sheldon Evans, right? Sheldon, in my opinion, is one of the smartest crypto YouTubers out there. And you have Benjamin Cohen as well, who's great for charting. But I'll create a video on the top 10 YouTubers in crypto that I think are very good to listen to follow, and have provided a lot of value to me. However, when it comes down to listening to anybody and everybody, I mean, like I said, ironically, you're watching this video and I'm a YouTuber making videos for you. You shouldn't necessarily listen to everybody, just those that seem to know what they're doing and have proven themselves over time. So yeah, that probably will affect me and the way you view me, but I'm just trying to be super transparent and honest with you. Just take a look, give your time, and do your research with individuals that have proven over time that they know what they're doing, and they've been right most of the times as well. Now, the other thing is that you want to pay attention to what other influential celebrities or other influential companies are doing. You want to take a look at people like Elon Musk and Michael Saylor. You want to see what PayPal's doing, want to see what Tesla's doing, want to see what MicroStrategy's doing. If they're buying the dips, that's a great sign. If they're selling, that's a horrible sign. If they stop accepting payments for their cars and potentially have a massive early correction in the market, that's also a really bad sign. I'm just kidding. But when it comes down to it, you want to pay attention to what they're doing, because essentially it's not just their money, it's investors' money. They have a board of advisors, they have massive accountants that they need to go through, and all these people make smart decisions, way smarter decisions as a team that I can make alone by myself. So when they're going out there and making decisions on their own or decisions together, it's way smarter than the decisions I can make on my own. So I like to mirror and understand and think about it logically as to why they're making that decision. So when Michael Saylor goes out there and adds more of his capital to purchase Bitcoin during the dips, and how much he allocates really shows me, in regards to his portfolio, really shows me how much I should kind of go in, or how much I should be investing in retrospect to his portfolio. So if he has $100 million and I have $100,000, then obviously there's a big difference here in regards to the capital, but the percentages I can follow along. So if Michael Saylor has 200 million, but he only put 100 million in at X price, I can put 50,000 out of 100,000 into X price and see, kind of mirror what they're doing since they're public. Again, it's a lot harder to track this, but you want to watch on Twitter what Elon's doing, what Tesla's doing, and really keep up to date with the news, because the news will really either tell you to sell at this time, hold, or we're going to go ahead and see a correction or a dip and you should be buying at that time. So again, paying very close attention as to what's happening is also extremely, extremely important that you should do as an investor. Now, the last thing that I'm going to say is cash reserve on hand. So have some sort of cash reserve, USDT, you're tethered up, ready to buy dips. This is so important, is because a lot of people will just go all in and then the market corrects or has a dip and then they're like, oh no, they're stuck kind of holding their bags. And you have the opportunity, if you go ahead and have some sort of cash reserve, like if I have 100,000 again, I might put 20% just for USDT, let it sit there just in case, or when the market corrects, I'll be able to go ahead and purchase altcoins at a discount, Bitcoin at a discount, Ethereum at a discount, whatever it is. So always have some sort of reserve there so you can get in when the market decides to discount itself. So this is exactly some strategies that I would suggest following and using in order to go ahead and win over time. You're not going to win literally in 24 hours from now. You might if you get really lucky with an altcoin, but over time, Bitcoin will increase in value. Bitcoin is very safe as a store of value as well. So again, with that being said, that is how I pretty much lay everything out and how I think about investing into Bitcoin. Dollar cost average your way in, very safe, and make sure you have a cash reserve there and hold. Very simple. All right. So with that being said, my name's Dan from the Hidden Gem Network. Please subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you want to see more like this, and I'll catch you soon.